Math is quite important for exam and it's quite interesting as well. And I'm assuming that uh, how do the convolution of unit hydrograph occurs. I made a video on that. Even if you don't know the convolution, you can do this math as well. No big deal. Well, we had a complex rainfall, and for the first 4 hours, we had a rainfall of 8 centimeter and the intensity was 8 divided by 4, which is 2 centimeter per hour. And for the next 4 hour, we had a rainfall of 3 centimeter, and the intensity was 3 divided by 4. And for the next 4 hour, we had a rainfall event of 16 centimeter. That thing is noticeable. All the rainfall to the amount of rainfall occurred that there is in successive 4 hour storms. So we are asked to find out a 4 hour unit hydrograph. So what do we mean by that? We mean that just 1 unit, 1 centimeter rainfall happened in a 4 hour storm, and no other rainfall occurred in the next hours. So we'll do that. So assume that uh, the value of 4 hour unit hydrograph for this, let's say U1. Well, if that is the thing, how do we get the discharge? We get the discharge by multiplying unit hydrograph with the amount of rainfall occurred. And the discharge is, in this case, 160. So I can write this, sorry, is 0. So here you can see that to find out E1, I can write E1 multiplied by the amount of rainfall, that is 8, is equals to 0. And here E1 is 0. So this value would be 0, U1. Let's say we have U2, the rainfall. The rainfall in case of 4 hour unit hydrograph. So how do we find this discharge? 160. We get 160 for the rainfall of 8 centimeter, and for that we'll multiply it with U2 because for this hour U2 is happening, and for at this time right over here you can see that 3 centimeter rainfall has occurred. So I will multiply 3 centimeter with U1, not U2. The reason is for 3 centimeter rainfall, it is the first period of time that I will multiply with. So that is U1. And I know the value of U1, that is 0. So from that, I will get the value of U2, that is 160 divided by 8. So I will get a value of 20. Let's say this for this discharge, uh, I have a unit hydrograph value U3. I'll measure that. So how do I get this discharge? 300. I get this discharge for 8 centimeter rainfall, of course, and for that I'll multiply it with U3. And for 3 centimeter rainfall, I will multiply it with U2, cos for 3 centimeter and for this discharge 300, uh, the effect of 3 centimeter, I will multiply it with the U2. And for 16 centimeter, for 16 centimeter rainfall, it is in its first hour. So for that first hour, I will multiply it with U1. U3 will be, I know the value of U2, that is 20, and I know the value of U1, that is 0. So 20 multiplied by 3, that is 60. 300 divided by 60, that would be 240. 240 divided by 8, I will get a value of 30. To get U4, what do we do? So I have a discharge of 570. For that, the rainfall of 8 centimeter, I'll multiply it with U4 because for the 8 centimeter rainfall, it is in its this period, that is this period. For that, I'll multiply with U4. For 3 centimeter rainfall, I'll multiply it with U3. For 16 centimeter rainfall, I'll multiply it with U2. And I know the values of U2 and U3. From that, I'll get the value of U4 solving. And the U4 would be a value of 20 as well. To get U5, I have a discharge of 636. I'll multiply 8 with the U5. I'll multiply 3 with U4. And I'll multiply 16 with U3. From that, I'll get a value of U5 equals to 12. To get U6, I have a discharge of 404. I'll multiply 8 with U6. I'll multiply 3 with U5. I multiply 16 with U4. I know U4, I know U5. From that, I will get U6 as 6. For U7, I have a discharge of 234. I'll multiply 8 with U7, 3 with U6. By this time, I guess you know the multiplication system here. And it has a order. Interesting. So from that, I'll get U7, that is 3. You can do the math like if for U8, it is 105 is equals to 8 multiplied by U8, 3 multiplied by U7, 16 multiplied by U6. From that, you will get a value of U8 is equals to 0. And you can do the math, you will get U9 is equals to 0 as well. So these are the values. U1 is equal to 0, U2 is equal to 20, U3 is equal to 30, U4 is equal to 20, U5 is equal to 12, U6 is equal to 6, U7 is equal to 3, U8 is equal to 0, and all these units are in meter cube per second. And what do we mean by that? We mean that if a rainfall of 1 centimeter for a duration of 4-hour storms, it would generate a discharge of this U1, U2, U3, 4. So by this time, I hope you have understood this math. If you have any confusion, let me know.